I can tell you. You know, George is a great testimony. George, I'm going to send you out for just a minute. George came into this church after being hurt in a couple of churches. And he said to me, I didn't ever think I could love a senior pastor again. And I was on the phone with George from Florida a couple weeks ago. I was down at a conference. I was just crying as I was talking to him on the phone, thanking him for his love for me and the investment he's made in me. And we become great friends. And I just thank God for him. Ed, who's another one of our elders, Ed and I are in a great relationship. And we don't always agree. You should hear George and I. We're like two junior high girls fighting sometimes. It's a wonder we don't have scratches when we're done. That's what my wife calls us. You guys are like two junior high girls on the telephone. So it's just, but it's, as I see that and see the model that we're in, one of the most wonderful things we have in this church is leading by consensus. We've never had a vote in an elders meeting, ever. We don't ever have them. The only vote that ever happens in an elders meeting in our church is we have to have an annual meeting once a year according to the law and approve financial statements and stuff like that. But when we talked about the building out here and all that's going on here and adding staff and all the rest, it all happens by consensus. Until we're all ready to move forward, we don't go anywhere. And so, but because we spend time together, so one of the great privileges I have is to be in that room and be part of that. And in some ways to lead it, but the other guys lead as well in it. And so for me, that's been phenomenal. The other thing for me is people say, like, what do you love to do, right? Okay, I love what I do on Sunday morning. I love that. I love meeting with people and talking and one-on-one or whatever. I love that. I love God's word. I have to discipline myself to study. And I'm going to make a distinction between study and prepare. I love to prepare. I love to get the message and get it outlined and figure it out. And, you know, and I just wish I never had to figure out what the Greek word said and really dive into that stuff. That for me is the area I really have to discipline myself in, right? And so for me, back to the question of what was the question? Something about harvest. What's it like to be the senior pastor? For me, it's been amazing. We've gone through hard times. We had an elder who's no longer here. We've had people who've blown out because of sin. We're dealing with people right now who have sin in their hearts, and that's hard, painful. But then you have the other things, and you watch God work, and you see people's lives being changed, and you hear the testimonies of people being saved, and people get in the baptismal tank, and they're reading their testimony, because Ed works with them to prepare them, and I'm reading them and go, that person got saved when I was preaching like 4 months ago. That's unbelievable. I didn't even know that, right? And so those things are just amazing when you think about what God is doing in his church. And I guess for me, I just always want this to be a ministry where it's like, I can't explain this. This is because God's doing this. And that is so true. Why a 54-year-old guy is leading a church that has 540 people in it last week, that's grown from 100 people in 4 years, and a young adult group like this and all the rest of it. I can't explain that. I'm not that good. But God is, and he's doing it. So.